Hello and welcome to another edition of Droppin Baums with me, your host, Corey Baumeister, as always with the lovely people here at TCGplayer.com. Today I'm bringing you Jeskai Tempo. This was a deck that took third at GP Hong Kong by Shota Takeo. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. We played 3 great rounds against Elves. We played against the King of Magic Online, Jabberwocky, in round 2, playing Jund. And then we played against those dirty little Urza lands in round 3. Stay tuned to check out those games. And as always, if you want to check out the write-up, go to TCGplayer.com to check out my article. And then check out any of the timestamps here to fast forward to any of the matches or the deck tech. Enjoy! Alright, round 1 time. I am excited here. This seems like a deck that really wants to be on the play. I guess that's every deck in Modern, but I think this one especially. Anything with the word tempo in it wants to be going first. This looks good to me. Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't keep this. Now it's just the question of which land to play first. I do not think it's Colonnade. So I think we are going to just play the Hollowed Fountain untapped and play the figure here. I haven't cast this card in a long time. Since it was in Standard. This card has really died down when it has so much text on it. It just has to be good. But it is really mana intensive. So it's the first mode makes it a 2-2. Second mode makes it a 4-4, for those of you who forgot. And then the third mode, you win the game. Okay. That is a reason to want to cast Lightning Helix. Feels pretty medium, though. I mean, if our opponent does go like Nettle Sentinel, and then starts going off, I mean, yeah, that's good. Maybe that is just too good. The problem is we don't have that third untapped land. So if we would have known our matchup in hindsight, I think we would have rather played Colonnade, so we'd go Lightning Helix into Geist. But the way Elves work out, our Lightning Helix here would essentially be a Time Walk. Because there's no way our opponent's going to get a bunch of creatures in next turn without that Heritage Druid. So this is what we're going to do first. We're going to attack. Basically a bluff attack here. I mean, if our opponent blocks, we get to just free pump it. So that would be silly of them. But yeah, here. Now we're just going to play Scalding Tarn and say go. More than likely Lightning Helixing this. Especially our opponent could play that 2-mana elf that makes another elf if you control another one. Yeah, okay, so now we kind of get to do some stuff here. Our opponent is left with just a 2-2 then. So what do we want? I think every single land that we could draw next turn would give us access to Geist if it's an untapped land. So I almost just want to get a basic mountain here. Yeah, we're going to do that. Lightning Helix. Keep our life total intact here. Land is what we wanted, but we did not get it. Now we have a choice here. I think I am going to attack. I'm okay with the trade here. Anything to slow the elf engine down a little bit is okay with me, and then we're going to hit hard with Geist. So we're going to pump this. And then we're going to play another one. Alright, yep, and we're doing a good job of maintaining our elf opponent from just going off. But once our opponent gets to 4 mana, Collected Company really changes everything there. Okay. So now we got elves to worry about. We did hit our land, though, which is important. I think getting Gideon online here is really good. Our opponent could do an Elf Lord next turn, which wouldn't be great for us. And something like 2 Elf Lords or something we're just not beating anyways. And Geist really is not good against ground creatures, so I'm kind of thinking the more and more this game's playing out, the more I think this is quite a bad matchup. Yeah, we don't really need any type of mana in particular here, so we're just going to get a basic land to avoid taking any more damage. Get Gideon down here. Haven't cast that card in a while as well. Ooh, yeah, the basic island was a mistake for Figure of Destiny. Yeah, I should have at least went for any of the duels. Westvale Abbey. Ruh-roh. Okay, okay. Doesn't feel good, but I think I want to kill it just because our opponent can just get a Ormondal next turn, and we would be very dead to that. So we're going to block, protect, get in as much as possible. Path is a good draw. Getting rid of that Elvish Archdruid is very good right now. I think we just have to do it right away. Well, let's think about our options here. If we path during their draw step, our opponent could tap Archdruid for 4 mana, play a free Collected Company. And if we path here, our opponent only has 1 extra mana. Our opponent already has access to so much mana that it really doesn't matter too much. So I think we just want to be assembling a defensive army here and get this out of there right away. And the nice thing about having a second Geist is we just get to attack with it and not really care if it lives or dies, and then just recast it. So the first one's not very valuable, but it will maybe eat up a couple creatures because if left unanswered, Geist is a pain. Okay, so that is turning on Westvale Abbey, which I think at this point of the game, that's how we lose, so we have to try to avoid that. But as of right now, there's not much we can do. Alright, we're taking 6 from that. Spell Pierce. That is not what we want. That is a dead draw. Kind of thinking it might be right to just Emblem Gideon. It's for sure not good, but... Or we tick up. Or make a 2/2. Those are our options. They're all of them make sense in some way. The most damage would be ticking it up. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Not sure on this. Really, I'm trying to think of the max way that our opponent would want to block with 2 creatures here. That's what I want our opponent to do, is block with 2 creatures. And our opponent's put in a rough spot. I mean, we're relatively unknown deck, but we have Jeskai colors, so we could have plenty of removal. We could have Electrolyze. So our opponent might be obligated to be doing some blocking, but doesn't look like it. So 6, 7, 8. That's 13. Okay. Our opponent did not take the bite, so that's not good. Now, if only we had a disallow. Alright, and here comes Westvale Abbey, it looks like. Alright. I guess we can get a path. And we're going to need a path here pretty quick. Gideon is gonna die to this. More than likely. Yep. Okay, so we're still alive if we can get a Snapcaster or a Path. But not if we get that. We're dead. That didn't work out the way we wanted. Elves, huh? The classic archetype. Is it Staticaster seems good. Anger the God seems great. We do have great sideboard cards here, but they're not good in this matchup. Spell Pierce is very bad. We do have Grim Lavamancer, which is insanely good. Like, we have good cards. Counter Magic is very bad against Elves, though, so I'm gonna take that out. But something like Negate... I'm just gonna say Counter Magic's really bad, and then be like, but what about Negate? The reason I would think something like Negate, but I guess Dispel is just better up against collected companies here. So the only problem with bringing in Dispel instead of Negate is they do have the something Rampage, whatever. The card where you play it for 3, look at the top 6, pick all the Elves and put them into your hand. That card is very, very good, and it needs to be dealt with as well. But it's deciding if it's worth the cost to have 1 extra mana here. 1 extra mana on a tempo deck is a lot. So I'm kind of leaning towards, for sure, 1 Dispel, maybe 2 here. I could see a 1-in-1 split. I don't mind a 1-in-1 split, I guess. Yeah, we'll do that. Diversifying your threats is never a bad thing. Otherwise, I like all this removal. Yeah, let's try it. Maybe I was a little too aggressive with that Path. If I just would have let the Archdruid go and just hoped our opponent didn't have collected companies and the Rampage card, which our opponent didn't, then it probably would have worked out better in our favor, but that's okay. Hindsight is 20/20. So for here, I'm left with the option of leaving open one of the 1-drops or safely playing a Colonnade. Likely that I'm going to want to Lightning Bolt my opponent's first play anyways. So there is some reason to play the Arid Mesa, so I could do that. But in hindsight, I would rather have 2 mana available next turn and just be able to play my stuff on curve more and miss out on the first turn. Yeah, another reason why our counter magic is very bad for trying to counter creatures anyways. Alright, Heritage. So I think we'll play this to disguise our hand a little bit. And we'll more than likely just get a mountain here. But we'll see if our opponent tries to fall in the same trap again. Waste his 2-mana elite card. I'm so bad at the elf names because I usually don't play against a lot of them. Now our opponent is correctly attacking first. And with that attack first, I am just going to take it. Elvish Mystic. If our opponent doesn't play a land, we are going to kill that card. Alright, so now our choice is between Lightning Helix to be as mana efficient as possible, or Bolt and Opt. My inclination is to Lightning Helix here, just because we don't know exactly what we're looking for off Opt yet. Our hand is still pretty in the early stages. We don't know if we're going to flood. We don't know if we're needing spells. Like, now we know for our Opt, we do not want to land, you know? So I think I am going to Opt right away, just because we only have a 1-mana spell to play anyways. Opt for Negate. That's interesting. I think this is actually fine. So we're going to play Gideon next turn, and then we can hold open for Negate for the collected company. Yeah, I think this is fine. We're going to keep it. Alright. We're going to play Canal and say go. Some of you might be wondering, why not play the Sacred Foundry tapped? because this becomes a tap land next turn. Because it is a fast land. Alright. Our opponent is on the board. Going to attack with Heritage Druid. We will sure take it. Down to 20. Ouch. Ooh, a Thoughtseize would be... A Duress would be bad. Good thing we got this negate. We want our Gideon to resolve. I wanted to save that for something else, but protecting Gideon is our main concern here. Yeah, this could go south here if we decide to play the Gideon instead of lightning bolting. So if our opponent plays an elf, then they basically just start to go off here. But if we don't play Gideon, we risk them having another Duress, aka being able to stop Gideon. So this is a dilemma. I think I'm going to go for the more high risk, high reward play here and cast the Gideon because it's very unlikely to actually die. So that means we're going to untap with it, and then we can react and maybe minimize our opponent's board if they don't go too crazy this turn. But we could very well be in like a 0% chance of winning after the end of this turn, depending on what our opponent plays. Yep. That's the start of it. Our opponent gets to tap, add 3 mana, and then whatever elf. And our opponent could collect a company now. Is this when they come into play or when you cast them? Cast, okay. Alright, so our opponent still has access to 4 mana. And can attack Gideon for 5 now. Uh-oh. Well, we did allow this to happen. So maybe this is just a big misplay on our part. Oh boy. Hopefully that's it. I don't know if we could even beat this, but... Oh no. Alright. We're ready for an anger of the gods. Alright. Is that it? That all they're doing? Grim Lavamancer might slowly let us dig ourselves out of this hole. We're going to start with an opt. We're looking for anger. Nope, do not want that. Oh! Ooh, that is good. Now, how can we do this so we can kill everything? So we have to lightning bolt that Elvish Renegade first. I don't know if there is a way to get everything here, depending on what our opponent does. So we're going to start by lightning bolting here. If anything, maybe we can just get him next turn. Likely putting regeneration shields on everything. Which means we do not want to be casting anger this turn. We want to go for the full value. Okay, so these 3 would live. Those 3 creatures would live, but our opponent would lose these 4. And we would be left with 1 Gideon token after we animated it. Yeah, so our Gideon would still die. So I think we probably just want to emblem here and play some defense. For sure play the land. Because if Gideon's going to die anyways, we want to make sure to have some value out of it. Let's see. There might be a chance that it lives. Nope, nope. Our opponent could for sure kill it if they want to. But we might as well make them do it. If our opponent puts all their resources at Gideon, then our life total doesn't take a huge hit next turn before we can anger. And if our opponent actually wants to untap Nettle Sentinels, they would have to play into Anger the Gods even more. Alright. Elite is completely fine. We're just looking for not another Collected Company or another, whatever this Regeneration Elf is called. Yeah, those are the 2 things that we're very much afraid of. We're going to lose it all, but we're going to be left with a Grim Lavamancer. Everything coming at us. That's great. So here we're just going to block the 2 biggest things. Yeah, this is kind of like showing that it's quite obvious of what we're going to do, but still. Our opponent either has the card or they don't. And they do not. Oh, boy. Alright, anger the gods. Or anger all the elves. That was nice. That was nice. Now I think we just start beating on in there. Yeah. Go Gideon. I think our opponent should have probably killed Gideon. But it's pretty close. We would be dead this turn, for sure, if they didn't, but... Woohoo! One-ofs! One-ofs! Alright, game 3. I wish we had more Anger the Gods in this sideboard. Alright, with our opponent, knowing our opponent is bringing in Duress, maybe Dispel is a little worse, since there's now 2 sorceries we care about. But I really do like the 1 mana. I'm going to leave it the way it is. There could be a world where we want more counter magic than that instead of a card like Gideon. Yeah, maybe. Gideon does not feel very good, even though it was like pretty solid there, but okay, this is fine. We're going to try it. Our opponent mulliganed to 6. Kept on 6 and kept a card on top. Okay. Wish we had the turn 1 removal for that. And there it is. Move this a little so it's more on screen. Now we're faced with a dilemma here. To bolt or to play a Grim Lavamancer. I almost think we get Grim Lavamancer into play, because then next turn we can bolt and Grim Lavamancer. Yeah, we're going to do that. So we're going to get a blue-red. Either blue-red or red-white. Maybe Sacred Foundry is just the superior land. Yeah, blue is only for like opt and stuff. Yeah, we're going to get Sacred Foundry here. Get a Grim Lavamancer in play. Start eating up some elves. Our opponent gets 1 good turn here to produce some elves that matter. And otherwise, he's going to start losing 1 a turn, usually with Grim Lavamancer. And all these fetch lands just so lucky with Grim Lavamancer here as well. Alright. Alright. Yeah, now we're going to eat the Llanowars first. Because those will die in time. Okay. So now we just want to keep our opponent off Collected Company. And for that to happen, we need to kill both of the Llanowars. But that's what we're going to do. And that Pendelhaven makes it harder to kill them when it's untapped. So we want to do it now. Just going to get this. Get rid of the 2 lands because we have Snapcaster. Now, we're definitely not out of the woods yet, even though this is a great start. Elves can really just catch you off guard. The Spellcaller is very good against them, though, as well. I hope our opponent duresses us here. Swamp Duress. A peak with a downside. I think we're sitting in a good spot, though. I think we're sitting in a great spot now. I've upgraded it from good to great. Alright, stay tuned. We'll see if we can keep it going. And welcome to round 2. Okay, so we're on the draw here with a pretty mediocre hand, but we have worse news. We are up against the one and only Jabberwocky. Logan Nettles on Magic Online. His handle's Jabberwocky. Anybody who plays Magic Online knows what a sicko this guy is. So we're not going to have an easy round here. And we're mulliganing. How unlucky. How unlucky. The good guys never win. Alright, so we're going to take a mulligan. That hand was just too slow. I'm going to keep this one. Seems fine. Definitely don't want our second Gideon. Alright, let's see what he's on. I would guess Jund? Yeah. If, for those of you who don't know, Logan Nettles is also Reed Duke's cousin, so I would expect a Jund Triland to be, making its way here. Alright, very unlikely to want to path on the first turn against Jund. So we're going to Steam Vents, take 2, and pass it back. Geist is pretty good against, I guess it's not great. They do have Lilianas. Maybe this is just a horrendous matchup. We're going to find out. Dark Confidant. Okay. We're going to want to kill that. Hopefully we can. Path is not the way we want to be killing it, though. So I'm going to put that on bottom, hoping for a Lightning Bolt or something. Mana Leak isn't terrible, but that is what we wanted right there, is that Lightning Bolt. Now the question is, do we try to Mana Leak something and then kill stuff from there? Maybe. My inclination is to just give our opponent as little amount of cards as possible, though. Maybe that means our Mana Leak is essentially going to be a dead card, but that's okay. And we do have the Snapcaster for another little form of removal here. Now, Liliana would be bad. We discard. Okay. I think... I kind of want to get rid of this path. Because we can Mana Leak that... It's either... I think it's between path or Mana Leak. Because we really want to top deck a land, but if we don't, path is what we want to... Or Mana Leak is what we want to be doing. But our opponent could easily go Bloodbraid next turn. So we're just going to discard this Mana Leak. Land. No. No. Okay, that'll be a good card if we can get there. I'd suspect maybe a Bloodbraid now. Yep. If I know Jabberwock, he's always running above average, so... As he hits a Fatal Push there. I think I just want to take this. And Snapcaster kill something else later. Okay, so that's what we wanted. It's what we wanted last turn. To have a Geist in play already would have been insane. I think we're just going to pass it back here. We do got to kind of play a little bit of defense here up against that Bloodbraid. And we're going to take it. Just because if we play Snapcaster targeting Bolt, then our opponent just doesn't cast this, and then we waste our Graveyard Bolt. Now, if our opponent plays something else, we might Spellcaller it. Or just Snapcaster, Bolt, Dark Confidant, End Step seems fine to me. And then maybe top deck a land and play a Gideon. That would be great. Raging Ravine. Okay. So yeah, we're going to do the Snapcaster Bolt play. Alright, get this out of there. Really looking for a land. Just because that Raging Ravine is pretty scary as well. That's not a land. I think we just have to say go here. Hope that Spellcaller can do enough defensive work. I think we're going to Spellcaller this. Alright. Alright, now we are dead. That's bad. That is bad. Yeah, now we're just dead to a Bolt. I don't like our chances any longer. I guess we play Geist here. And then Path the Ravine. If our opponent draws exactly nothing for the rest of the game, I think we'll be okay. It's Jabberwocky. Of course there's not nothing. Alright. Now Jund. Okay. I don't see a bunch for Jund, but mostly because I think it should actually be a decent matchup. Spellcallers aren't very good since there's so much removal, so I would like to take those out if possible. Rest in Peace. Oh, Celestial Purge up here. That's good. I thought that was just another Rest in Peace. Grim Lavamancer can be okay. Maybe there's just not a possibility to take all these Spellcallers. And when chained together, they are insane, so... I really do want to have a way to deal with Liliana. Negate seems great for that. Spell Pierce doesn't seem ideal. So I think maybe we'll go 3 Spellcallers and 0 Spell Pierce. And then 4 counter spells here. I kind of like it. And then we have Grim Lavamancers for small ball stuff like Dark Confidants. Other than that, they're not great. I mean, I guess just hitting Bloodbraid. Jabberwocky will definitely still be leaving in Bloodbraid. The card's just too good. The only thing I'm questioning here is Rest in Peace. I think there's a chance that this card can just be great, and it doesn't affect our deck very much, but it also doesn't affect his a lot. But shutting down Tarmogoyf is a big deal, but I don't think it's worth it. So we're going to submit this. I have a very, very high lose rate, a fail rate against Logan here. He beats me all the time on Magic Online, so every time I play him, I'm just trying to get redemption. Ugh. How am I supposed to get redemption with hands like this? I guess. Nope, can't keep that. Guess we go for red-white here. Get our Grim down. This is definitely a little bit more of a reactive hand than I would want. That seems good. It doesn't really matter what we take. I would assume he's going to take Lightning Bolt because the paths both kind of help him out a little bit. But that is one basic there. They don't play a ton. Okay. That's a good draw, especially concealing that information here. Let the beats begin. Alright, a Goyf. Definitely a card we do not want to have to deal with the hard way. So, Hollowed Fountain or Steam Vent is my challenge here, and I think I want to do Hollowed Fountain because I have Gideon's, where I might need double white. So we're going to do that. And I think we're just going to path right away. It allows him to untap and play a Blood Braid, but with the fact that we might need negate mana anyways here, I think it's fine. I would like to play that, but I do predict this could be a Liliana turn. Therefore, we would for sure want to be able to counter it. Yeah. Yikes. That would have been game over. Not today, Logan. Not today. Okay. So we are going to have to give Logan full information here with this figure. Ooh, I probably should have... No, I want to leave path open just in case. Alright. Kin Figure of Destiny, go all the way. I doubt it. Pump once. Oh, don't be a buzzkill, Logan. Aww. Not cool. Not cool. Alright, well, I guess we want something like a Geist, huh? You may be good, sir, but I'm luckier. Let's hope Logan took out Liliana's. Oh, better type of better lucky than good. Alright, we'll get on in there. 2-turn clock coming in. Alright. Play the land just because we don't want to discard it. Alright, that was an interesting sack for fetch land there because now the Angel will kill him. Are we just bolting for fun? And then conceding? Okay. Alright, Geist sneaks one out. I bet his Lilianas are coming back in. Okay, that was pretty sweet. Now, what do we want to change, if anything? I really don't like Spellcaller. Like, really not good. Engrim Lavamancer seems super bad if our opponent's bringing in the other Liliana. So maybe we should think about maybe something a little bigger. Maybe the Stormbreath Dragon. Well, it does not have protection from any of the colors of Jund. None of the removal really lines up well with it, so we are going to bring that in. Maybe that should have just been in the whole time. So I could see something like this and just getting rid of Grim Lavamancer. The card does feel low impact, but there could have been creatures that it would have killed stranded in his hand too. I kind of doubt it, just because like Scavenging Ooze and stuff is probably not something that's ideal in these matchups as well. The only thing that's for sure still going to be in is Dark Confidant, and I think we have enough removal for it already that I think we're just going to run this. Let's do one Vendilion Click instead of Spellcaller, just because, like I said, I don't think it's very good. And now there is some reason to be wanting to rest in peace our opponent. Especially on the draw, just shutting down Tarmogoyfs like that seem decent. And I mean, K commands are huge. Yeah, K commands aren't that big when we have 5 exile effects plus Snapcasters, so we're going to keep it at this. All right, game 3, up against arguably the best Moto grinder of all times. This is just personal at this point. He's beaten me that many times where I just absolutely need to win some. Sounds great? Yep, sounds great. We'll keep it. Okay. Inquisition. I was going to say, this is going to be a tough turn what to play, but that'll help it make it a little easier. The one thing I don't like as much, but I think Jund has to, is leaving in a bunch of hand disruptions when you're on the play. You really want to just be forcing stuff through instead of trying to rip apart your opponent's hand, because they're drawing more cards than you anyways. Like, you run into situations like this where our hand is just stacked. Like, it's hard to know what to take. So I'm not the biggest believer of leaving in a bunch of hand disruption on the play in most decks, but I think Jund is one of those decks that doesn't function perfectly without looking at your opponent's hand. So takes the Opt, the all-powerful Opt. Okay, well, we're going to get the figure in play to just die to something, but a Goyf. We did top deck running pass here, so that's nice. And we're not going to attack here. We're not going to path, because we do want to keep negate open in case our opponent plays a planeswalker. I kind of want to not ever not have negate. that was a good sentence. I kind of want to not never have. I want to always leave open mana for a planeswalker as long as I have negate. We can kill stuff at our end step. We'll just take a hit here from Goyf once or twice. Seems like Logan is deep in the tank. Or probably just looking at his hand thinking, oh, I'm just going to beat Corey again senselessly. And just cackling. Let's hope it's the first one. Now, there's almost nothing that we would want to counterspell except the Planeswalkers right now. Like a removal on Figure, we're just going to let it go because very likely there's plenty more removal where that came from. But we can't really beat a Planeswalker. Fulminator. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad for us, holy. God, maybe we want to path our own creature. Wouldn't be the worst idea. Get a blue source. I don't love it. I don't love it, that's for sure. I think we'll still just path Goyf and then pump Figure here. Yeah, that's not good at all. Very likely to be losing our canal here. Now we really need to top deck a blue source. Come on, one time. There's hope. Now we have access to everything but Spellcaller again, so we're definitely not out of this. Fulminator Mage is interesting, though. And we don't want to really get Culligan's Command here, so we're not even going to sack this Scalding Tarn. It's a decent draw, but we definitely want more lands. Yeah, we're cool with that. Okay. Now I think we're gonna want to sacrifice this. Yeah. Another Figure of Destiny. Not really what we want right now either. Really just want to be getting land. So something like top decking a land and going like Snapcaster Opt is going to be something we would rather do. But I don't think there's anything that could go too bad by playing a Figure. Yeah, I mean, our opponent could just play a Planeswalker. That's bad enough. So we're just going to say go, wait till we get a third land to start deploying something. Logan's just sacking to thin his deck out likely, maybe flooding a little bit. That looks like a lot of basics, so our path might just be a Swords of Plowshard right now. We don't want to just play Snapcaster. We do want to land. Come on. Yeah, I think we gotta give it one more turn here. Nothing really has changed. We'd just be getting antsy if we ended up pulling the trigger this turn when no information has changed. And that we just can't let happen. We can't get fulminated again, so we have to do it. Logan's setting up for a great turn next turn, but that's just what we got to do right now. That's not too big of a deal. Just a duress here. Our hand is good. We just need land. Now just looking to get Raging Ravine beats. And now it gets out of Lightning Bolt range, so that is very smart. Oof. Alright, well, we're going to play this. Likely just going to have to take a hit from that Raging Ravine again. Figure of Destiny would be much better if we could draw some lands. I know I've said that 10 times this game, but... Ugh. Yep. Likely going for the Fulminator plan, which is way better. Yep. We'll see if Logan wants to use it now or will hold up a bit. Regardless, we are going to activate Figure. Make it a 2/2, get it out of range from Liliana. Oof, that's bad. Having removal plus being able to Fulminator. Now we're forced to Lightning Bolt on our turn. We really need 2 running lands now. Yeah, we're just dead. Sometimes you're never lucky. And that happens to be me against Logan. So 5 and 6, so we are going to be down to 1 after next turn's attack. Oh, lame. If that was a path, we'd still be in this. Yep, nothing we can do. And that'll be it. Alright, we'll stick around for round 3. Let's see if we can have some redemption and at least sneak out a 2-1 here. Alright, round 3 time. And we get to go on the play. Things are looking good. Alright, so let's start it up here. Sounds good. We got a turn 1 figure with some interaction. That's what it's all about. So I think we start with a... Oh no, we'll just start with this Inspiring Vantage here. I was going to say if we didn't have the fast land, I would say we'd probably go get a Steam Vent. But Sacred Foundry is the second best here, so I think that seems fine. Tron! Everybody's favorite deck. Alright, so we're going to level up Figure here. Try to get the clock going. We'll play an Arid Mesa here. Then we'll get on in there. Yeah, this could be a tricky one. Ooh. Had the Dismember. Yeah, that's not good. Dismember and Perfect Tron coming in. Alright, we are going to... Doesn't really matter here. Anything with blue. Don't really care too much about taking damage from our land, since Tron either kills you by a lot or it doesn't get close to killing you. We do not want more land. We want a Geist. Gideon's not bad. Geist. Figure of Destiny. Alright, so we're going to try this again. And we'll ship it back. Hope to avoid a Walking Ballista here. Alright, another Dismember. No Tron. Tron guy doesn't always have it, apparently. Alright, so anything with white here, we're going to go with Hollowed Fountain. We'll leave Lightning Bolt for now. And now we don't really need a certain kind of land, so we're just going to go with a mountain here. I would say island would be fine too, but with Figure of Destiny, you want all your lands to be able to activate. Alright, get in. Let the 2/2s begin. Alright. This is how Tron is supposed to work. It's supposed to fail. Everyone who knows me knows I absolutely love Tron, so don't take that to heart. Alright, we're going to start with an opt. Path. That could be good if our opponent goes like land Wormcoil. So I think I am going to keep this. Yeah, we want to have an answer to that. So we have our opponent dead and likely next turn. Very likely next turn, actually. Actually, we might have just missed lethal here. Yeah, we missed lethal. I could have just Snapcaster Bolt, won the game there on the spot. So that was a misplay. Very unlikely to matter, but even if our opponent went Wormcoil or Ballista, like, we still just do that play. But, yeah, last turn we could have just won the game on the spot. That was bad. All right, Tron. So we'll bring in these Stony Silences. We're going to bring in Negates. Dispels are bad. There's no real instance you want to deal with. Wear and Tear could be okay, but not great. Grim Lavamancers are terrible. Spellquellers can be good. Restoration Angel doesn't seem great. Gideons also don't seem very good. 4 cards we need to take out. I kind of like leaving in all our counter spells. I don't like burn that much, so maybe Lightning Helixes are just not great. Spell Pierce can actually be good. Being able to Spell Pierce a Sylvan Scrying on our turn 1 if they're on the play is actually pretty relevant. So I think from here we can take like 1 path out. Unlikely that that's usually the way they beat us is with creatures. Could even see taking another one out for Wear Tear, but we don't want to just lose to a Wormcoil, so we'll keep it like this. Stony Silence is great against Oblivion Stone, which is just a great card in every matchup, but it's also very good against us. Like, being able to have instant speed way to deal with our creatures in combat and to deal with all of them is very tough. So Stony Silence is kind of a must against that. All right, let's hopefully finish this with a 2-1, only losing to the great Jabberwocky. Tron guy making you wait. This is too many lands. This is too many lands and stuff that doesn't interact early enough here. My inclination is to mulligan this. I think basically the 5th land is like an already mulligan. So, yeah, we're going to ship this back. Okay, this is okay. Ooh. This could be spicy. We're going to keep it. It's no Blood Moon or anything, but it can still have some nice implications. Alright, we'll play this. Cavern of Souls. Oh, it's Eldrazi Tron. Okay, well, then it's probably worse, but wish we wouldn't have played that. We'll take the 2. Yeah, okay, Stony Silence is a lot worse against Eldrazi Tron. But we're still going to play it. Still shuts down Walking Ballista, and suppose I could have assumed that with seeing a Basilisk Collar, but I think we can safely opt now. Ooh, we'll keep that one. Alright. Now we'll just use these 2 1-mana spells to protect Gideon next turn. I don't think I want to kill this Matter Reshaper and just block it with Gideon. I think that seems like the Gideon token, I should say. Walking Ballista for 1. I don't care about that. That's just a 1-1 now. But if our opponent has a Dismember for our Gideon token, then our opponent could attack Gideon for lethal. So, with our opponent missing a land drop, I want to I don't really want to kill this because if it is a land on top, then, you know, that's helping dig our opponent out of this situation and could find a Reality Smasher, which would deal with Gideon handily. So I'm going to do a kind of an unorthodox play here and just Lightning Bolt the Ballista. Because that means almost for sure there's no way that Gideon will die next turn. And that's all I want to do is untap with Gideon, and I think we should be okay to win this game. We're going to find out. Let's hope this logic is sound. It easily could not work out, so. But I think this gives us the highest chance of Gideon just taking over the game. Even though our Lightning Bolt is kind of wasted on such a 2-mana 1/1 with no abilities. Gideon, ally of Corey. Gideon's been good. Gideon's been real good. Maybe our opponent's just going into full-on life tilt because Gideon hit the stack? And our opponent could just untap, play Urza's Mine, all is dust or something, and we're just completely done, but we'll hope that's not the case. Our opponent could have a lot of responses with one colorless mana open. You never know. All right, make our 2/2. Pass it back. I mean, there's some world where we don't even block. Oh, no. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Reality Smasher would be a reality check, that's for sure. Ruh-roh. Well, that was a good draw on our opponent's part. Rightfully attacks both at Gideon. I guess we'll deal with the Matter Reshaper. But yeah, now we're in a horrendous spot. Map into play, that's going to be useless. Now we can deal with that Reality Smasher. Okay, well, we got a plan now. If it works is another story, but we're going to hope. Play Geist here, and we're going to path this. Let's hope for nothing huge. Something huge is coming, I feel. 11 mana. Okay. Seems fine. This all seems fine. Okay, well, I guess we have a new path target. Well, kind of needed our opponent to attack there. It's because our only way is to like top deck 2 bolts in a row and be able to get a couple attacks in here and hope our opponent has nothing. At this point, I think that's all we got. Ugh, can't even cast that. So we can put our opponent down to 11. If we top deck another bolt, no, we'd still be 1 short. We're losing this game even on board with a top decked burn spell. We really need like a path to stop this Reality Smasher and hope that our opponent has nothing. But our opponent is tapping a lot of lands very frequently. This looks like a walking ballista. That will do. That will do. Alright, we can definitely sideboard a little differently now. Stony Silence is a lot worse against this deck just because they don't have Oblivion Stones. So that changes a lot of stuff. Definitely bring in the other path because they're great. This card might be good. Yeah, our counter magic gets a lot worse now with Cavern for the creatures, but I'm not sure there's much else we can bring. Could see a Wear Tear on the play because we can destroy a map. I don't really like any mana leaks. I don't really like negates now. Spell Pierce is still alright. Maybe we just bring in Burn here and try to get it done that way. Doesn't seem ideal, but I really don't like counter magic up against Cavern of Souls. But, on the other hand, Mana Leak is good against Thought Knot if they don't have a Cavern. But I'm pretty sure they play a lot of Caverns, so I think that's a bad plan to be siding that stuff in. And we still got one hard counter. Yeah, we'll try it. Not ideal. I think this is has a good regular Tron matchup, but I think the Eldrazi Tron matchup is a lot worse, so we'll see here. I would like to play first. Ew, we can't get a good opening hand to save our life here. No pressure. No Geist or anything here. Just some mediocre cards. I think we got a mulligan. That fifth land is just not good in this deck. Alright. Alright. I guess we're going to keep. I don't really want to mold a 5 here, but maybe it's correct. Now we're going to keep it and hope we draw some stuff off the top. Don't want another path. Play this tapped. And we'll say go. Alright, well, that's not bad. We'll play a Flooded Strand to get another land out of our deck. Maybe thin it out a little bit. Leading on Ghost Quarter is, like, very good. No Tron land, no Cavern. I mean, now they have a Cavern, but no Eldrazi Temple or anything. So that's it's as good of a start as we could hope for. Okay, Spellqualler's good. It's actually great. We're in business now. We drew out of it. A map. No, I don't think we're gonna give our opponent anything, to be honest. I was pretty much gonna Spellqualler whatever our opponent played. Likely this just gets dismembered, but okay. Now we are going to sacrifice this. I'll just get a mountain. Play a Gideon. Might pull this out after all because our opponent must have kept a way worse hand than we did. Alright, dismember. Kind of saw that coming. I definitely could have played Gideon after I attacked. I just figured that was going to be the sequence regardless. Now our opponent has to waste a turn mapping and just playing a land and saying go. That's not bad for us. Now we can just attack for 7/7. Yeah, we got a 2-turn clock here. So we can attack with Gideon as a 5/5, right? Yeah, 5. Ooh. But Dismember takes down Gideon. So I don't ever want to put Gideon at risk here. So I think I'm just going to just make tokens here. Maybe that's a slower line, and it probably gives our opponent an extra turn, but I think it's worth it. Maybe I should have held that land as well to discard to Reality Smasher. Uncounterable Thought Knot. Yeah, we don't care too much about that. Well, the question is... Yeah, we want him to just look first, because this doesn't matter. Takes a path, and then we get to path. Draw a card. Ooh. We're gonna Lightning Helix. We might just have him dead. Yeah, 4 plus 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got lethal! Lethal, lethal, lethal. It's a good way to end. We can only be defeated by Jabberwocky, the best Moto player online. Oh yeah, Jeskai tempo. Tempoing out the Tron foe. Oh, alright, and that's the game. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Hope you enjoyed a little modern break. Well, Standard, admittedly, is at a dead point. And, you know, I mean, there's just no other relevant tournament, besides Worlds, of course, where doing a Standard video right now doesn't make a lot of sense. But I am acquiring a lot of ideas for when the new set comes out and we lose 4 sets. Standard is going to be fresh. It's going to be awesome. But for now, we're going to just focus on Modern a little bit. Try out some fun new decks that have been doing well, like this deck that took 3rd at the Grand Prix in Hong Kong. And yeah, thanks so much for stopping by, everybody. We will see you next week for Droppin Bombs. See ya! Well, I hope you all enjoyed the games here. I just wanted to talk about this deck in depth a little bit more, give you a little bit more grasp of the deck. So yeah, this is a deck that I saw took 3rd place at Grand Prix this last weekend, and I think it's great. You know, I mean, it's approaching the Jeskai, the fantastic Jeskai cards from a little bit different angle, because historically these Jeskai cards have always just been placed in the hands of a Jeskai control deck, which was doing phenomenal when it was basically nothing but creature decks in the format. Jeskai cleans those up very convincingly, actually, but with the rise of Blue-White Control and Tron as becoming one of the basically top 2 decks, Jeskai Control becomes terrible then. Like, it doesn't have a good Blue-White matchup because of all the Field of Ruins taking down Colonnades, and it does not have a good Tron matchup because it's just too slow. Tron eventually has times to just, you know, be casting Ulamugs and, you know, doing all the mean things to the Jeskai lands. But this deck that can approach it at a bit of a faster angle, and really, I would imagine, has a good matchup against both of those decks now, both Blue-White and Tron. So I really like what this person, I'm forgetting the name. I know I mentioned in the article the name of the person who took 3rd, but I really like their take on this. So we go to the removal suite. We have like the best removal in the format in the form of 4 paths, 4 lightning bolts, and then 3 lightning helixes. These are all just the premium staple removals of the format, and when you compare them with Snapcaster Mage to buy them back at any time, it really makes creature matchups pretty good. Pretty good. We did end up losing to Jund, which we did get very unlucky. We should have at least had a chance to play Game 3. You know, we were only left with 1 land. We were strip mined twice, so we can't completely fault it on that, but that's only 3 land, and it was like turn 11, you know, so that was not an ideal situation, but I think we should have won that round. Other than that, our creatures, the interesting aspect that caught my eye is Figure of Destiny. This is a card that ran rampant in Standard for a long time when Kithkins were popular. Red-White aggro was a thing there for a while, and Figure of Destiny was a 4 of no matter what in every single one of those decks. But since then, it's really fallen off. So it's nice to see that card come back. A little bit of counter magic in the form of Spell Pierce and Mana Leak. And then you have one of the best cards right now is Geist of Saint Traft. It is 6 damage for 3 mana, hexproof. each turn, it is just so hard to deal with. And without Jund being a popular thing in the format, I know we played it, but not a popular thing. This card really can't be killed except by like Terminus and Oblivion Stone. Other than that, it's very tough. And we do have answers for some of those cards in the form of counter magic. Spellqualler is another card that I think is just insane right now. You see these 3-drops are all... They're staples in Bant Spirits right now, which I find to be the best deck in Modern right now. It just won the last GP. I covered it last weekend. I thought I was just mind blown with how explosive that deck was. And I like where this deck is going because it's kind of adapting the same kind of things, except just replacing Collected Companies and early creature 1-drops with removals and Gideons. Otherwise it's a very similar deck. And one popularity or one reason why I think Bant Spirit is so good, or why any white deck in general is so good, is because of these 4 cards. Rest in Peace and Stony Silence happen to be the best sideboard options right now in Modern. They deal with the most things. Like, they shut down decks. They each shut down like 20-30% of decks just by themselves. Something like that is nothing to scoff at. It's very good. We move on. We got Dispels, got some Disdainful Strokes, and Negates as our counter magic. I really like the split because too much of one thing, especially when a deck list starts to become known, is just leaving yourself a little too narrow. This gives you options to kind of do everything. And when you go through a decent amount of cards and have Snapcasters where you can buy back and have different options toward, I really like the split. One Vendilion Click, just a good card. Great against Control, great against Tron, anything that isn't a creature-based deck to see what's going on there. Anger the Gods, we saw how good this was round 1. I think even maybe there should be a couple more because it really is a fantastic card, but it also kills everything in our deck. So that's why it makes sense that there's only one. Stormbreath Dragon, a good, when you just want one extra over-the-top card, likely for anything with Path to Exile, where the paths get you to the mana where you can cast it, and then cannot be killed by Path. So this card kind of screams blue-white control killer to me. Static Caster, good at killing those X1s, and then Wear and Tear needed for Wear Applied. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's Dropping Bombs. Go out and cast some Geists and back it up with some removal and counter spells, okay? All right, see you next week.